I'm here with the one and only Whitney Johns, reunited once again.
Good to see you.
How are you feeling being in Dublin? Obviously, we were in London last time, Dublin now. How are you feeling?
I have always wanted to come to Dublin. I've always wanted to visit Ireland. I'm a quarter Irish, you know. So
Okay.
it's the motherland.
Oh, that was a good Irish accent.
Pretty good at it. No big deal. Yeah, it's cool. It's an incredible experience. It's interesting being back in Fight Week. It's sort of like I almost still feel like I'm processing the first one, being back in it, you know. It took me a couple weeks after the loss, you know. It was a pretty harsh loss. It was definitely a performance that I wasn't happy with.
Yeah.
But, you know, you take what you can from it, and it's one of those things where it's like, okay, that was your first fight. It's in front of 13,000 people and millions others watching on, you know, the internet, and you know, to really take control of the calm and like staying calm, not letting the nerves and the adrenaline really dictate your performance is going to be my biggest focus this time. You know, the training is there, the skill is there. It's just more about, okay, now the pressure, like dealing with the pressure, that's I think the biggest thing that I'm up against.
So yeah, I was actually going to ask about your experience from your last fight with Barbie. You know, in lead up to it, obviously this is like your first go at it. You know, you've been doing fitness modeling for a long time, and obviously this is a new venture for you. Now that you've had time to reflect on your fight with Barbie, how do you feel in yourself? Because I've just seen you, like, you know, work on the pads, and like I've already seen improvements already from your last fight. So how do you feel now in lead up to your fight with Amber? How are things going to be different for you?
Well, I think it really is reps and time. There's so much to learn with boxing. It's like overwhelming, right? And even professionals that have been doing it for years and years still have more to learn. And this has really been a crash course of learning boxing on the job, right? And it's one of the reasons why it's so high risk and so like interesting to watch is because you're watching a bunch of amateurs get up there and novices really and do their best. But like over just weeks and weeks more of camp, I know that's helped. Just allowing all of the skills you need to integrate, but that really takes time. It just takes time. So, you know, my coaches keep telling me I learn faster than most anybody they've ever seen. So I'll take that for what it's worth, even though there's so many more improvements I could make, even on this next fight. I'm always going to have more that I could do, and I could always do better, but I'm trying to just take where I'm at and roll with it.
Because you've been training with MMA fighters. I saw your stories like yesterday. You were training with the MMA fighters. So how, with their knowledge of MMA, has that helped you in even increasing your boxing knowledge more, even though it's a different sport that they're on? Yeah,
because I worked with boxers too. It's definitely a different style, and there's a lot of differences. But I think what I like about working with MMA fighters as well, and like my sparring partners, a lot of MMA fighters, is more of just how to fight, right? It's not necessarily like boxing, it's just the fighting mentality and what it takes to go in there and be a killer is the biggest thing that I've taken away from that. So, and also just fighters are very humble in general because you can either win or you lose. Like everybody's going to take a loss here and there. So that's been really helpful to have that support system of people that are like, look, you're doing the best you can and don't be hard on yourself. Everybody goes through it. It's just you can't help but be humbled by this sport.
And of course, like obviously, your fight with Barbie it's going to be totally different to your fight with Amber, because with you and Barbie, it was more of a thing like you don't hate each other, but it's like you had to get into each other's heads.
Totally.
This time around, obviously, Amber and you seem to have like this like great connection that you guys are cool.
I actually adore
Because
her.
she even said to me on an interview recently, like she said, you know, we both like each other. It's not a thing that we're trying to build up some hype in terms of our hatred. It's just we like each other. Let's just see who the best woman is on this case.
Exactly. I actually adore Amber. And, you know, in a tournament, you get to know these girls, right? I actually adore all the girls now. It's gotten to that point where, you know, but at the end of the day, we're here to compete. And we're here to fight, and someone's got to win, and I definitely never want to lose again. So, Amber, I'm going to beat that ass.
I mean, she did say the same, so she's ready for you too. Ready to you too on that one. And I just wanted to touch on the fight with Barbie as well, in the sense where obviously you're both in the ring for the first time. and obviously you both had great form. You took a lot of you got a strong chin. you were able to knock some on the chin. You took some.
I can take my licks. That's one thing I've learned through sparring and just fighting is like, it takes a lot for me to quit. Like, I'll never quit. That is really how I operate. So at least that's there, right? I think it was very overwhelming, and I definitely abandoned my game plan because I was so overwhelmed by everything, the lights, the people, her size, she's a big, strong girl.
Right.
And it was also kind of like with her technique, it wasn't the type of technique that I was used to sparring with, right? It was a lot of kind of looping hooks, and it was more of a brawl. And I had been sparring with really technical pro fighters, right? So it was kind of just like not knowing how to even deal with it in the moment and know what to do in that situation, which I've actually took a lot of that back with me in this last camp and been able to prepare for more of that, right? So it's just a different animal, like it's just a different animal. Like influencer boxing we're not professionals here. This isn't a pro boxing tournament. This is you have to roll with the punches literally, and the entertainment and the, maybe not the exact right form for everybody, and just roll with it and just get out there and fight.
And I just want to briefly talk about your brain product. Yes, because I saw that, and it's intriguing me actually, because
I have one in my bag. I'll bring you one.
Oh, God bless you.
Yeah, you can try it.
I never get anything. I don't get no gifts.
I'll bring it to you.
No, thank you. But I wanted to talk about that because I'm guessing there's a backstory in terms of like how you wanted to create your own product in order to get your brain activity much better. I mean, what was the catalyst for you making this product for yourself?
I grew up with ADD, and I grew up with a lot of trauma and mental health issues and gut health issues, and I really had to kind of reset myself and my brain health, my gut health, my hormone health. And I dealt with a lot of chronic pain and just a lot of issues, right? So for me, I really wanted to bring a line to the market of holistic products that are good for your body. There's a lot of crap being sold in the fitness industry, a lot of gimmicky stuff. I really wanted something that was going to help with just your holistic health factors and help you perform. So for me, it was like all about performance and function. Like if you're mentally performing well and you're also functioning well and you're healthy and your mental health is there, the sky is the limit. And it allows me to do things like this, take on a challenge that's massively uncomfortable, but so for me, it's all about looking your best and feeling your best. And so I my supplement line hopefully reflects that philosophy.
Well, we'll put the link in the description so that people can check it out and stuff like that. And finally, just two more things really. Who have you got winning the actual tournament from the women's side and the men's side? Obviously now you're fighting Amber, but seeing for the rest of the tournament, who have you got winning for both women and men?
After fighting Barbie, I'm like, that bitch, she might win. That bitch is gonna win this whole thing because she's just so good and big and strong, and it's tough. She's a tough one to beat. So I could see her winning. Elle has a lot more experience than anyone, so she's gonna be an amazing contender. But I don't know, like even like Julie was an amazing performance, and so you kind of don't really know. That's why I'm really excited to watch these fights because I'm genuinely like gonna be on the edge of my seat.
It's like who really will like it could be any of those four women.
Yeah, it really could.
And what about the men?
I think Winderson looks really good. I think Jarvis looks really good. But it's like all four of those guys are killers. So it's hard to even say on that one too. But if I had a hunch, I might even say Jarvis. I think he's kind of the sleeper that has been underrated. Okay. And as from what I've seen in his technique, I mean, he could go pro almost. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. We'll see what he can bring out in the ring. Well,
that's why it's a exciting semi-final week, and we're finally here. And finally, obviously, you said in your story, like once this is all said and done, you're going to enjoy yourself a little bit. You want to have a few drinks. Like, what's the first thing you're going to do after your fight with Amber?
I'm going to go get hammered.
Straight up, just get a couple drinks in, straight through.
I mean, we're in like a pub town, man.
There's a lot of Guinness places. I was so baffled.
Guinness and just like whiskey, and I'm like, I'm ready for a drink, man. I haven't been able to drink for weeks, so I'm like, let's go.
What's your drink of choice?
I'm a gin girl.
I like a bit of gin.
I like gin with a little cucumber, minty, julep type of thing. But
I'll see, now you're going on a bougie like sort of level for that. Like I just go like gin and tonic, that's it, me done. So.
I mean, I could do gin, soda, grapefruit too, but you know, if I got my way, I get a little high maintenance with my drink cocktails.
I would say for me quickly that if I have a wine, like a red wine, I like to put a bit of fruit juice in it as well. So that
Gives it that little, it just takes away the bite.
Yeah. It's not too bitter in any way.
Makes it more drinkable, which is more fun.
And that's how it's supposed to be. Like, you've got to enjoy life in any way you can.
Absolutely.
Well, Whitney, thank you so much for taking the time to speak. It's always a pleasure, And I wish you all the best with your fight with Amber. And I know that both of you are friendly, but I know you're going to kick ass for the both of you.
Yes.
All right, thanks.